Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone podcast, episode number 904 for the 1st of February, 2026. Richard Saunders coming to you from Sydney, Australia. We've had another heat wave. Hopefully today will be a little bit more manageable. Coming up on this week's show, Woo Watch, a live recording, so to speak. I travelled to visit Kate Thomas in her very own studios, and we recorded a Woo Watch conversation. We discussed things from last week, like the tickety-boo. How do you say that? Tickety-boo. Tickety-boo. I can't even say it. The situation with the business Tickety-boo being taken to court by the Therapeutics Goods Administration, and quackery and people's perceptions in general. And we'll be kicking off with Woo Watch this week. Now, what I did at the time is I set up my camera and I recorded the Woo Watch as a video, and that is available now at the Skeptic Zone YouTube channel. So if you want to see Kate and I having a chat, then head to skepticzone.tv and click the YouTube button. And I'm taking the opportunity to edit certain bits of that too, and I'm using those as reels, Reels, the little videos, at the Skeptic Zone Facebook page. Check it out. Then following that, a recording that came my way from a group of friends of mine in the supermarket. Not sure what that's all about. We will all have to wait to find out. Bit of a mystery, that one. And that's followed by the Australian Skeptics newsletter, once again written by Dee, our news editor, hello Dee, and read by Adrienne Hill in her very own studios there in Calgary, Canada. Then to round off the show, for crying out loud, it's Kat McLeod. Now, Kat alerted me to a TV show I never knew existed. It was broadcast in Canada in the late 70s into 1980. It's called Beyond Reason. And it was like a game show where psychics competed against each other. I've certainly had experience of that. But this one is quite bizarre, well, aren't they all? And Kat and I will discuss Beyond Reason at the end of the show. Now, for those of you who were listening last week, you will remember in the Trove segment we talked about Athena Starwoman. Athena Starwoman. And we read out one of her characterizations for a certain star sign. And I said, have a listen. If you haven't had a listen, you can stop this one and go back and listen now. And I said, is this you? Is this your star sign? Because I didn't mention the star sign. Well, if you were wondering, the star sign was Aries. And here's me thinking all the time it was another star sign. Well, actually, I knew. But the whole point is, of course, without knowing the star sign, it boils down to, more or less vagaries and Barnum statements. And that's what you'll hear in this segment with Kat McLeod, of course, when we look at these so-called psychics and graphologists and clairvoyants and an astrologer trying to guess the name of the secret celebrity guest on the show. Now, don't forget, listeners around the world, especially listeners in Australia, the Australian Skeptics National Convention is joining forces this year with the Skeptics Guide to the Universe, and we have Noticon plus Skepticon 42. This will be in Sydney, Australia from the 22nd to the 25th of July, and you can buy your tickets now. Just head for skepticon.org.au or click the link at skepticzone.tv. All the rogues from the Skeptics Guide to the Universe will be here for a 4-day extravaganza. Plus, we'll be doing things like awarding the Bent Spoon Award and other Australian Skeptics goodies. So make sure you head to that website, secure your tickets for this 4-day skeptical lineup of skepticalness. Very exciting, Skepticon and Noticon. Get your tickets now. But now it's time for me to run downstairs. More ice water, I think, because last night was one of those muggy nights, where it's really difficult to sleep. There was a fan blowing at me all night, and then At some time in the wee small hours, I couldn't sleep, so I was mindlessly looking at TikTok or something, and on came a guy who said that in Chinese medicine, they tell you not to sleep with a fan on, and he gave all the terrible things that could happen if you slept with a fan blowing in your face at nighttime. And I loved one of the comments that was along the lines that said, in Western medicine, we say, where's the peer review evidence for your claims? Nice one. Anyway, while I do that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. Wacky woo that's worth watching. It's Woo Watch with Kate Thomas. And I'm here in Kate Thomas's studios, my goodness me, in beautiful Greenwich, Sydney. Hello, Kate.
Hello, Richard. I would hardly call them my beautiful studios. You bought the beautiful microphones.
Well, I have. What can I say? To compliment your beautiful studios. Now, Kate, you, as listeners will know, because we run the advertising for it, we run the advertising for On the Moans, your own podcast. Now, that's up to episode 4, 5?
Do you know that episode 7 is coming out this Saturday?
7?
7.
I must be behind the times. Goodness me.
Yep.
How's that going? How's the whole experience?
It's really good. It's been quite the learning curve. So you have spent a very long time very patiently explaining and showing me how to produce my own podcast. So that was an amazing thing to learn. If you'd asked me probably even 3 months ago, I wouldn't have said that was on the cards. So isn't it good that you can still learn things as you get older? And I just also think it's amazing that there's so many people from around the world listening. So every time I log in, there's a new country, there's new cities. They're not always English-speaking countries or cities, and I just think that that's amazing.
It is. It's really interesting. You'll get interesting feedback from all around the world, and I imagine that's starting to happen now. You're getting interaction.
Getting some lovely interaction, some lovely positive feedback, some lovely positive reviews. So I welcome anybody to let me know what they'd like me to talk about, or if they've got any constructive criticism, I'm always open to improvement.
And it's On the Moans, and folks, you can find the link to that podcast at the Skeptic Zone homepage at skepticzone.tv. Now, you've recently come back from Hawaii.
Yes.
And I must say you're looking tickety-boo.
I see what you did there. Yes, Hawaii was amazing. Hawaii was as beautiful as it is in the pictures. They do something to the water, I tell you. They get out overnight and they dye it blue. They must do.
And they warm it up.
Can't possibly be natural. It's so amazing.
Now, of course, I say tickety-boo because listeners might remember last week we were talking about and the prosecution of a woman up in Queensland for using or selling this product from the tickety-boo business. And it's quite extraordinary. As listeners will remember last week, I went into the history of and what it is and what it's supposed to do. And I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures, but they're just horrifying.
Well, it's corrosive. Yeah. So you'll know a lot more about the history of it than I do, but I think it's amazing that she had a product. So she had her bloodroot and that were meant to be cures for anxiety and cancer. Like there's such different diagnoses.
Yeah.
And yet these things were meant to cover all these bases.
Well, that is a classic red flag of quackery.
Yeah.
One thing can cure this. It's all natural and with no side effects.
It should be raising lots of red flags for people.
It does, and it did, which is a good thing.
Although I would like to suggest to anybody who's listening who works for the TGA that maybe things could be jumped on earlier. It does seem like, I mean, it's great that that they caught onto it. I mean, obviously somebody's told the TGA that somebody's registered a complaint, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of harm done, I'm guessing, before the TGA got to it. Could there be a system where we get onto things a bit faster?
Good point. And one of the things if I had my 10 years back again, I think I'd jump on this more, getting complaints into the TGA, because that's where real change happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can blog about it, we can podcast about it, but when it comes to having things stomped on, just stopped, it's up, it's the government authorities that have to take care of this.
For sure. And I guess they can't know if they're not told.
Yeah.
So that's right, Richard. It's on all of us if we see something that we recognise as either being harmful or we think might be not as evidence-based as it should be, or people making wild claims well outside of their scope, to let the TGA know. And actually letting the TGA know is a reasonably straightforward process.
It is, and I'm in the process of, I don't want to give too much away at the moment because this is hopefully will be happening soon, but there is a business with a product which we've looked at, and it's gobsmackingly quackery. There's no doubt about it. It can't possibly work, this product. And I have written the complaint to the TGA, and now I'm just circulating it amongst a few people to see if that's the best course of action. I've had interesting advice come back saying that this business with this product, that's obvious quackery, but all the other crazy things they do in this business, like crystal healing and stuff, and I think to myself, well, yes, but there's lots of businesses offering crystal healing and natural, lovely, feely things. Mm-hmm. I would rather concentrate my efforts on the utter quackery. And the main problem with this particular quackery, and listeners, you'll find out all about this pretty soon, actually, on the Skeptic Zone, is that it's the potential is people will think they have been diagnosed. That's right. And the TGA in that, it's a public document. Everyone can go to the TGA site and read about this tickety-boo business. And they were saying quite clearly that harm isn't just what you do, but it can be also what you convince people not to do. And that's a really subtle form of harm that isn't as in people's faces as a horrible corrosive burn from applying to tissue. But if you have been convinced not to see an actual medical professional because you've been led down an alternative pathway, then that is just as harmful. Yes. Yes, it is. And we see that again and again where people think they're getting healing, be it from a crystal or this product that I'm concentrating on at the moment, which pretends, what's the word I'm looking for? It claims it can scan your whole body, for example. And then the practitioner will say, well, the scan has shown that your heart is really good, and 3 weeks later they die of a heart attack because they've started to get something and they didn't bother to see the proper specialist. Yeah, that's the big harm, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep. Delay of treatment, delay of actual treatment is a legitimate harm that was recognised by this particular judge who did the tickety-boo case. I know, it's such a good word to say because it's also, I mean, I would say that the language that is used is just as big a red flag as some of the claims that are made as well. So we teach people how to spot email fraud because of particular language that's used or perhaps spelling mistakes or whatever it is. But as part of email fraud education, you're looking for a particular type of language, right? Mm-hmm. And the same applies in healthcare. If you're seeing a practitioner, and people can't see me because it's a podcast, but I'm using inverted commas,
then that's me doing my air commas, then that should raise a red flag, because actual medical services don't have names like that.
Mm-hmm.
And actual medical services don't use language like that. And in the same way you're looking for things to help you with scams, you should be that should be raising.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it should almost be part of the high school science course. Look out for this. Look out for these words, this marketing, because it doesn't work. It's quackery. Again, this one product, be it a pill, be it a whatever, it will fix all your problems. That whole notion is a big, one of the biggest red flags there is. The other one is doctors don't want you to know about it.
Yes.
That's another big red
because
flag.
doctors classically like to gatekeep information. I think when you're having that kind of conversation with people, it's not a science-based logical conversation. It's become an ethics-based personality conversation, hasn't it? It's not here are my facts, here are your facts, let's put them together. It's no, I am not one to be taken in by big pharma or medicine, and that's now my value proposition.
Yeah, and it's so easy to fall into the trap of conspiracy theories when somebody comes along who you perceive as an authority figure or somebody you maybe trust anyway, says, look, I've got the inside information. They don't want you to know about this, but this, take this pill and so on and so on. And you see that in the comments of the this Tickety Boo, for example. Now, she has put up a fundraising campaign, and the comments,
That's
we're
crazy.
with you all the way. The government are evil, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Look, and that's not you almost can't engage with people at that.
It's hard
at that time. And really all we can keep doing is saying over and over again, as we do, look for these kinds of language, look for this kind of sound. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
That's a good rule of thumb, yes.
Well, it is a good rule of thumb, and we instinctively know that in other areas of life, but we seem to have a bit of a blind spot for it when it comes to health and wellness.
Well, we have a blind spot in a lot of things.
Maybe.
It's just being
Yeah.
part of being lumbered with being human. I think we have to cope with our evolved brain, which does a pretty good job by and large.
It does.
But,
Yep.
In a society which is more complex than we have evolved for, if you see my meaning. The human being evolved to maximize in a certain state, and society has become so absolutely ridiculously complex that I try to keep that in mind, because people can find it difficult at the best of times.
For sure. And everybody finds things harder or easier than other people at different times. I guess I was really just thinking about myself at the gym this morning, thinking, I'm finding some of those movements harder than other people at the gym, and that's fine because I'm me and they're them, and it doesn't matter. I'm just doing my best. But when it comes to, that's a situation where it actually doesn't matter. But when there's actual risk and harm is when we need to be sure we're taking care of people who maybe don't have, as our lovely friend Annie would say, their critical thinking caps on.
Some people don't have their critical thinking caps on. Some people are still looking for their critical thinking caps.
Yeah. So we need to make sure we're taking care of those vulnerable people.
Yeah. It's a tricky path. It really is. And I'm glad you're there on the path with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm new to the path.
You're new to the path. It's like a tightrope. You've got your balancing stick, and you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
And you're now in the world of science communication, I guess.
Yes. I would never have considered myself a science communicator, but I suppose when you are on the front line of healthcare, then that is your substantive role. If you're anybody, a physio, a nurse, a doctor, a pharmacist, a dietitian, whatever you are, if you're with somebody and you're delivering education or information, then it's a very precious role to be in. And I think that when people are able to feel like they can tell you about their problems, then you need to be really careful with it and make smaller claims, not massive, large, overarching claims like, I can fix all of this with one tablet. You need to be more careful and more trustworthy.
Yeah.
I would say.
No, you make a good point. It is the red flag. Don't listen to people who say this can cure everything or it's got a 90% success rate, which the doctors don't want you to tell you about. That's when you turn around and walk away.
Yeah, these people are not your healthcare providers.
Not your healthcare. Well, I'm glad you are a healthcare provider.
Me too. Yeah, it's a very good job.
I think it suits you very well. Kate Thomas here in your own studios, which I quite like the view from your studios.
It's all right, isn't it?
Right.
It's all right.
You must get a lot of birds coming
A
over.
lot of birds.
A lot of birds.
Can't you hear that one crying?
Oh, vaguely. I hear a dog panting somewhere. Oh, there's a dog around here somewhere.
It's a little dog, but that cuckoo, I think it is, comes from Papua New Guinea, and the bird lays the egg in the nest of other birds.
Right,
and so
yes.
there's this massive bird out there being cared for by a poor little magpie, and it just cries all day for food. Luckily, it goes to bed. Otherwise,
Isn't nature wonderful?
I don't know. I'm ready for this one to move on.
Kate Thomas, thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard.
Clean up on aisles 86 and 99. Mop and bucket, please. Aisles 86 and 99.
Hey, Adrienne.
Hey, Susan. Out for some shopping, eh?
That's right. I'm stocking up on real, imitation, natural, no GMO, gluten-free Australian maple syrup made from gum trees.
Real emit what? Gum trees? That sounds awful.
No, it's really good. 12 times pancake eating champion Richard Saunders says it's the best, and 7 out of 10 koalas agree.
Koalas? What? And people in Australia eat this stuff?
You bet. Look, there's Kate over there by the health food and melatonin section. She's Australian. She'll know for sure. Hey, Kate.
Hello?
Kate.
Oh, hi, gang. Out for some shopping, eh?
Hey, Kate, we need your advice. Is real imitation, natural, no GMO, gluten-free Australian maple syrup made from gum trees as good as real maple syrup from Canada?
Canada makes maple syrup?
Yes, it's the best. It's made from maple trees.
What? Not from gum trees?
This is getting crazy. Oh, there's Lara over there, near the pancake aisle. She'll know for sure.
Hey, Lara! Hello, Adrienne. And Susan and Kate. Out for some shopping, eh?
Yes, and I really want to buy that real imitation, natural, no GMO, gluten-free Australian maple syrup made from gum trees. But Adrienne is skeptical.
I don't blame her.
Oh, come on. It's great. My dog loves it.
Oh, and Susan says that 12 times pancake eating champion Richard Saunders says it's the best.
And you listen to him? That's got to be a logical fallacy.
A logical fallacy? Are you sure?
It might be. I wonder.
If only we had a way of finding out. I said, if only we had a way of finding out.
Where is the skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet?
I don't know. I sent her the script and recording time. Skeptical fairy. Hello.
It's okay. I've booked her stunt double. If only we had a way of finding out.
What is going on?
Hello, everyone.
Oh my! It's the skeptical is that you, Kat?
Yes, I'm in training. Now, what do you want to know?
Okay, what can you tell us about the real imitation natural, no GMO, gluten-free Australian maple syrup made from gum trees being endorsed by Richard Saunders? Because the whole thing sounds like a logical fallacy.
What? Is that a joke?
Well, we're trying.
I think you better ask the real skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet.
I would, but she's totally undependable ever since she was inducted into the Tooth Fairy Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that Golden Molar Award really went to her head. Or maybe it came out of her head. What do we do now?
Come to think of it, I kind of remember hearing on the Skeptic Zone podcast something about a YouTube page which explains 40 different logical fallacies.
Oh yeah, I remember now. There's a link to it on the Skeptic Zone homepage at skepticzone.tv. Let me see. Here it is. tinyurl.com/logicalzone.
tinyurl.com/logicalzone. Ah, yes. I had seen that. It stars Michelle Biggersmar. Michelle is also the Skeptical Fairy's press and publicity agent.
So, maybe we don't really need the real skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet after all.
Well, we did outgrow the Tooth Fairy.
And I need the job.
Right, but the real fairy is pretty good at telling us about skeptical events and resources. At least when she shows up.
Oh, right. I guess we do need her after all.
Come on, everyone. There's a bar just around the corner with real Canadian maple syrup beer.
Perfect. Beautiful. Love it.
Great, let's go. Yes, let's go. I'm so happy. Hello everyone, this is Adrienne Hill, and I'm here in Skookum Studios in Calgary, Canada, and I'm going to read the highlights from the Australian Skeptics newsletter. This is newsletter number 239. Don't forget you can sign up to this newsletter at skeptics.com.au and get the full report, complete with all the links, every other week right into your inbox. But let's see what our news editor, Dee, has for us this time. Hi all, says Dee. We are in the midst of summer here in Australia, and it looks like another record breaker. News sources are reporting on the intensity and duration of some of the heat waves that continue to roll across the country, briefly becoming the hottest place on Earth. However, it is a reputation we have claimed in the past, on occasion, hoping you have ways of cooling off. But what better way than at Skepticamp 2026, hosted by the Victorian Skeptics. Additionally, I am beyond pleased to announce that we at the Australian Skeptics have teamed up with the Skeptics Guide to the Universe to bring you Nauticon, Skepticon, Life, the Universe, and Everything, our 42nd annual conference. In the meantime, read on. Dee. Okay, Dee, I'll do just that. And if anybody wants to come to Canada to escape the heat, it's a nice, pleasant winter here right now. Creationism in science classes. Just when you thought it was safe to go into the water, science teachers from Queensland Open Brethren schools have been told to teach students about vegetarian dinosaurs on Noah's Ark. Now, that's just nuts. And maybe a fruitcake or two. That's cute. Southeast Australia set to have worst heat wave in decades. A record heat wave across Southeast Australia peaked during the last days, leading to extreme fire danger and temperatures close to 50 degrees Celsius in multiple states. I don't think I could survive that. I'm not good in anything over 25. Oh dear, these are the highest maximums in 17 years and the longest stretches of over 40 degrees since the 1930s. And Aussie meteorologists are on high alert for fear of a firestorm. The Bureau of Meteorology forecasters expect temperatures, pressure cells, and humidity akin to that of the Black Summer of 2019 to 2020, where a weather phenomenon known as a pyrocumulonimbus was observed and appears to have potential for a more common sight coinciding with our El Niño weather cycle. I wonder if this is a sign of things to come. A history of Soviet saucers. There are a lot of stories lately of a cache of Russian sightings of UFOs in the USSR now being released. But the sightings were logged in the 1970s and were widely publicized both in the USSR by the official media source TASS and in skeptical journals such as Skeptical Inquirer in 2000 and the U.S. Skeptic in 1990. Apparently, everything new is old again. And the Bank of England is fearful of the U.S. disclosing extraterrestrials. There has been an increasing number of theories and beliefs surrounding the existence of aliens, and the topic has seemingly intensified over the past year. Now, some of the oldest financial institutions have been gripped by the fear of the destabilizing effect such a discovery would have. Maybe because aliens would be much better bankers than we are. However the case, one so-called researcher warns that, quote, UAP disclosure is likely to induce ontological shock and provoke psychological responses with material consequences, end quote. Well, that's astonishing. And unfortunately, UFO disclosure is unstoppable and a certainty. Apparently, 2026 is the year. Finally, as was 2025, 2024, 1947, and so on. But these experts, speaking to the Daily Mail, indicate the volume of military and intelligence personnel prepared to give public testimony has reached a threshold where maintaining secrecy may no longer be viable. Surely, if they wanted to expose the obvious truth, there would be any number of channels to do so, and many independent informants to corroborate. But sadly, we need to milk UAP mania for as much as we can. RFK Jr.'s change on rotavirus vaccine recommendation could hospitalize thousands. Recently, RFK Jr.'s health department has changed the recommendation of many vaccines from recommended to shared clinical decision-making, which in reality doesn't change the fact that the recipient has always been the final decider, but has instead stirred up doubt in a treatment that has proven to prevent hundreds of thousands of infant deaths around the world. And how did attitudes toward COVID-19 vaccines change over time? This is an outline on the contexts and causes for the gradual shift in sentiment on vaccines and immunization treatment. It showed how people became hesitant and began to doubt the efficacy and safety of these treatments beyond what would be considered rational skepticism. Anna Stothard's 6 months as a telephone psychic. This is an intriguing read from Anna Stothard, a, quote, work-from-home psychic, end quote. This is a dive into the thoughts and rationale of someone who sold prophecy to individuals who wanted some direction, assurance, or maybe just needed someone to talk to. Nauticon tickets are available. For this year's conference, we partnered with the Skeptics Guide to the Universe to bring you Nauticon, Skepticon, Life, the Universe, and Everything. It will be held at the Sydney Masonic Centre for a full 4 days of skeptical excellence. It starts on Wednesday, July 22nd and goes to Saturday, July 25th. Look for the link at skepticzone.tv. 2026 Surf Coast Skepticamp, February 21st, 2026. For their 12th time running, Surf Coast Skepticamp, SCSC, is Australia's longest running Skepticamp. This year it will be hosted at Aries Inlet Community Centre Hall, with various scientific topics and speakers. Best of all, Surf Coast Skepticamp is free. Be sure to register. Items of interest. 95% of educated people believe in alien life. The Daily Mail, surprise, surprise, keeps mixing up life out there with alien intelligent life. I was wondering about that. See a more measured article from The Conversation for contrast. Silly story of the week. Bigfoot crosses the Atlantic. I wonder if he went by canoe or powerboat. A dad of 3 has reignited rumors of a British Bigfoot after he spotted a Sasquatch-type figure, quote, moving at speed, end quote, through misty woodland at Cannock Chase, Birmingham. Honestly, it feels like it would be a cheap shot to make fun of this. Dope. Story of the week. Arsonist displayed paranormal behavior. Stephen Pittman, a man who burnt a synagogue in Mississippi, is having his actions discounted in lieu of paranormal possession. Well, that's all for the newsletter today. While I was investigating a Canadian word of the week, I stumbled across an interesting webpage at vividmaps.com. There it shows on a world map the most common words on a country's Wikipedia page, sort of. And I am assuming they are only referring to the English pages. The title of the page is, quote, the most uniquely popular word on every country's Wikipedia page. Every country's Wikipedia page is filled with important information detailing the nation's economy, culture, and geography, end quote. I'm not sure how they classified these words as uniquely popular, and it doesn't really go into that, but I found this page to be very interesting and quite fun. And here are some examples. So for the country Hungary, the most common unique word on the page is translation. Then for Finland, it is sauna. And I double-checked this one, and the word sauna is mentioned 15 times on the page, and in fact, 8 times in one paragraph. England. I bet you can guess this one. It's royal. For the Republic of Ireland, it's whiskey. For Wales, devolve. It's interesting. Iceland, eruption. Denmark, tax. Madagascar, lemur. Love that. Guinea, bauxite. China, dynasty. And Japan was Monday. Thought that was interesting. The United States is native. New Zealand, sound. Australia, continent. And the last one that I will share with you, Canada. And surprisingly, it's not maple syrup, not loon, or loony. It is percent. Who knew? I guess we Canadians are mathematically inclined. Until next time, this is Adrienne Hill from Skookum Studios in Calgary, Canada. crying out loud. It's Cat McLeod.
Crying out loud. All the way from Edmonton in beautiful Alberta, Canada, which is near Calgary. It's Cat McLeod.
It is.
Hello, Cat.
Hello, Richard. How are you doing today?
Good. It's going to be another warm day. It's going to be 31 or 32. What's that in the old system? Somewhere in the 90s or some silly hot. We don't know.
Silly hot.
Silly
That's
hot.
all we need to know.
And humid. But I understand where you are. It might creep above zero.
Yes, we're right around the freezing mark today. So we might hit +1 Celsius, which is like 32.5 Fahrenheit or something.
Something like that. And that funny old system. Now, in front of me, I have my skeptical hard drive with my skeptical files, and I have a file here, a folder called Psychic TV Shows. And the psychic TV shows I have in here are America's Psychic Challenge, Britain's Psychic Challenge, Scream Test. Oh, that was a ridiculous show, maybe for another time. Sensing Murder, Strange But True, from the UK from the early 90s. That's an interesting one. The One, Australian psychic TV show, which I was involved with. And also I have a folder here, thanks to you, because I did not know this show existed, Beyond Reason. What can you tell us about Beyond Reason?
Beyond Reason. It was a Canadian sort of game show that was filmed in Winnipeg. And it started out as a summertime fill-in show, and it grew. So it aired from 1977 to 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And it comprised of a host, a judge, 2 special hidden guests, as well as 3 panelists. And the panelists would be astrologers, graphologists, a palmist. I haven't seen that episode yet, though. And a psychic who did psychometry, which is holding an object and being able to tell you all about the person by holding their object.
From the vibrations and
the vibrations,
energies.
exactly.
Psychometry is a fascinating thing, and it's a good one for testing, actually, because it's reasonably easy to set up a test. James Randi did it famously on his show called James Randi Psychic Investigator many years ago. Actually, I should have that in that file, but I've got that in the James Randi file, but that's another psychic TV show.
There's so many of them, Richard.
So.
This one actually had some pretty high level or well-known, I guess is the word I'm looking for, had some really well-known personalities come on the show, like Buzz Aldrin and Julie Newmar.
Catwoman was on the show. Wow.
Catwoman was on the show. Peter Mayhew was on the show. He is the actor who played Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Most famously.
I met him once in Sydney.
Did you really?
At a con. Yeah, he was a lovely fellow. Just, doing autographs, and had a quick chat with him, and he wished me well. Yeah, very nice fellow. He died a few years back, I think.
Yes, he did, sadly. But of course, that would have been right when Star Wars: A New Hope came out, right? So it was before Empire Strikes Back came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was new and exciting, and he was, just getting super famous at the time.
What an interesting lineup of stars. And I noticed, too, another one they had on was a very famous Canadian magician named Doug Henning.
Yes, Doug Henning was on it. I love how at the beginning of the shows, I'm not sure how many of them you've watched, but I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
They always offer the reassurances, and I actually wrote down verbatim what they said for the episode that aired February 20th, 1978, with Dr. Alan Hynek on, who was a famous ufologist.
Oh.
And it says, quote, "We've set up stringent security schemes and devices of such diabolical ingenuity that there is just no way that the panelists could find out who our hidden visitors are."
Well, that's good enough for me.
Right? Only I found it incredibly interesting that the graphologist told Julie Newmar, TV work is very important to you, but she had no idea what Julie Newmar did for a living or who she was.
I have watched. Yeah, I have watched quite a few of them.
Now, CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which have produced many fine shows over the decades, have catalogued, archived a few clips. And there are a few other clips sort of scattered around. And so it was a matter of doing a little bit of hunting.
Yes.
But let's concentrate on one particular reading. And this was from a very famous man.
Yes. A very famous man who sat there throughout the entire interview. You've got to love the 1970s. Smoking a cigarette the entire time.
He did, yes.
And unlike the panelists who clearly had no way of knowing who this man was, I can let our listeners know that it was the infamous, the fabulous Stan Lee.
Indeed it was. Now let's play a short clip from the session. So let me try to set up the scene. Stan Lee sort of sitting there, hidden from the panelists.
Yes.
There are 3 panelists, and they're all in their little cells with a glass door that comes down, so presumably they couldn't hear what each one was saying. And
little soundproof booths.
Yes. I will add a link to this in the show notes, folks. It's worth watching. But it's such a funny idea because they're competing against each other to see who can get the most hits using either astrology or
graphology or psychometry.
Graphology or psychometry. And the thing about the one with Stan Lee I like in particular is he doesn't give too much away. He plays his cards pretty close to his chest. So we'll pick it up where one of the so-called psychics, an astrologer called Jeff Gray Cobb, has an attempt to use the stars to find out who the special guest is. Let's pick that up now.
This man is the friend and creator of Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, and many other klutzy superheroes. Cartoonist and comic book publisher, Stan Lee.
All right, it's to work now for our panel. We'll raise the door, first of all, on astrology. We have all of the birth data of our guest before Jeff, and from that, he's going to tell all.
Or tell some. This gentleman has the sun in Capricorn and the moon in Taurus. You are strong and healthy, is that correct?
Oh, I'd like to think so.
You have a genius for impressing people. You get their admiration by keeping the common touch.
Well, I won't deny it.
Mars suggests you have a scientific mind.
No, I don't think so.
Really? I've got here a Jupiter, good education to university level and above.
No, high school graduate.
Well, you use figures in your work.
Mm-hmm. Some.
Okay.
Are you speaking of numerical figures, Jeff?
Yeah, I was meaning figures off a printed page.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, okay, I gotcha. And Moon in Taurus says public speaking or broadcasting forms part of your career.
Yes, it does.
There's a retentive memory.
Not really too much, no.
Well, let's go the other way on that one. Say you're very much concerned somehow with cause and effect. There's nothing wishy-washy about your reasoning.
I think you're right.
Jupiter in Scorpio says you think big, but you are prepared to dirty your hands and clean things up if you have to.
Right on.
There's some of the historian in you, says Capricorn.
Okay.
And Mars in Pisces says you're interested in what atomic science is doing to us at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, these figures you work with...
I'm going to pause it right there. The astrologer, Gary Gray Cobb, is doing to you and I. We can see it a mile off. They're just standard Barnum statements.
They are.
And hoping something hits.
And I love how in that one clip, he's like, well, let's go the other way then. Well, that was a total miss, so I'm just going to flip what I just said.
And the thing, of course, to remember is, and what the contestants being the psychics, would know full well is the person behind the screen would have to be famous to be on the show. Yeah. They're not going to pick Mr. Jones from down the street or Fannie Mae or something like that, Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae.
And they even give the panelists, the psychics, a hint. So like when Betty Hill was on, they said, this has to do with an extraordinary event. So they know, okay, she herself may not be famous, but she is involved with an extraordinary event because UFO supposedly took her up. So they know that, he may be in the entertainment business. And for Stan Lee's readings, he had a sum total of just over 40 questions asked. And the judge was very kind and generous. And he gave them a total of 26 points out of those 40 some odd questions. But it's things like, you're healthy. Well, I'd like to think so. There's a point.
Well, there's a point. Well, let's play a very short clip from Julie Newmar, the one and only Catwoman.
Our second guest.
And here we have Sun in Leo and the Moon in Gemini. You are a persuasive, intuitive person, almost psychic, even though you don't believe it.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
You have an impish delight in doing or saying the unexpected.
Oh, yes.
And I'd put you into a spoken word career. You use your voice in your career.
Yes, quite.
There seems to be more than one marriage in this chart. Would that be true?
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, I'm sorry about it. Blank
You
that one
must
out.
be wrong.
Mercury gives you a creative, artistic vocation.
Absolutely.
And Uranus would make you taller than average, 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, you're wonderful. 5'11".
Thank you. Let's ride that one as far as we can. You're probably blonde.
I have been.
Uh-huh. You're certainly a good listener.
Thank you.
Venus says you tend to stay in the background at parties because you love to watching people.
I do.
Mars says you're what my chauvinistic generation would have called a pin-up girl.
Oh. You're seeing through walls.
Well, let's cut it right there. So most of those, of course, were Barnum statements. And what was interesting, there was a few hits, you got to credit a few hits when they come along, it's a great example, and this whole show is a great example of how people will think to accommodate the Barnum statement.
Absolutely. You're 5'7", 5'8". Absolutely. She's 5'11". That wasn't a. That's like saying I'm 5'7" or 5'8". I wish. And to the listeners, I totally am.
Totally, yes, totally.
My favorite part of the Julie Newmar reading was the psychometrist who compared her to an exotic dancer. But what was really funny is after, when the host was saying, okay, you had some hits. I think it was the graphologist who said, Dory or Doris is very important to you. And Julie Newmar said, yes. And afterwards, the host said, okay, so who is Dory or Doris? And Julie Newmar said, I don't know.
And I feel also that the name Dory or Doris was very important in your life at one time.
Yes.
And it's...
Doris was mentioned, or Dory, by Irene.
I don't know that name, but it strikes something. I can't respond to that right away.
Dory or Doris.
And that speaks to exactly what you're saying, that motivated sitter. They want to agree with the Barnum statements. They're saying yes, even though it's not a hit. It's wild.
Well, they're trying to play along with the show, and they're trying to please. I mean, and this is what happens in a lot of psychic readings. The person will try and make things fit and see how this could possibly fit. But getting back to this character, this astrologer, Jeff Gray Cobb, I had not heard of him before until you pointed the show out to me. And I did a little bit of research, and now he's in the files, so to speak. And he wrote books on astrology, and one here. And the book is called The Miracle of New Avatar Power. That's what I want. It says, Revealed at Last, Secrets of the Mighty Ancient Wizards and Magicians Who Ruled the Earth in Ages Past, by Jeff Gray Cobb. Here are the actual spells, incarnations, secret names, and words of power that the great avatars used to make others obey, dispense evil, enjoy lifetime prosperity, win unlimited riches. This is getting better and better. Repel enemies, attract love slaves. That's a bit of a worry.
Just a touch. And was this the Dark Ages by any chance?
Well, maybe it was. That's right. What's it say on the back of the book? Want a bank account bursting at the seams with money, a love life that would make a sultan envious, supreme power to crush your enemy.
Crush the enemies.
This is getting worse and worse. It can be done, and if you buy this book and do the spells and incantations, maybe you'd be on the right track. So that's there's
it
not
happened
very
to Jeff.
much.
It happened to Jeff. If you read the About Authors section, he was on the wrong side of the tracks and living poor, and then boom, he's on TV and he's rich.
On TV. Cobb died in 2009.
He was born in 1928. So he was, I think that's the same year James Randi was born. And he's the only really current link I can find that is going on Facebook. His daughter seems to be carrying on his work or his legacy a little bit. But he's just one of the interesting characters. We have other people like Irene Hughes, which was supposedly America's most accurate psychic, and some others there. What an interesting show.
Well, I had to share it with you because it was fascinating to me. I'm dragging you down the rabbit hole.
Oh boy, that is a rabbit hole. And it's so fun to see a show from that era too.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, Stan Lee sitting there, they're introducing him and he just lights up a big old cigarette.
He's like, this is going to be fun. How much am I getting paid for this one again?
Yeah. Now, I found an interesting article here in the Montreal Gazette, dated the 18th of February, 1978. And this is a radio and television review at the time by Joan Irwin. And the headline is Psychic, in inverted commas, Psychic Show is only a guess-a-thon. So this particular reviewer saw what was going on. It's guesses tarted up and disguised as psychic insight, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you listen to the readings and you hear some of the Barnum statements that comes up, like with Julie Newmar, she has a very beautiful voice. Oh, you're a lover of Europe.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
You have a capacity of organization was another one that they said.
Oh, yeah, there's so many.
Who doesn't have a capacity for organization? Yeah. It doesn't mean you're organized. You just have a capacity for it.
When the star is revealed to them, suddenly they click all the dots. Yes. They link all the match up all what they said. That's why I said this. And it's the show is called Beyond Reason, and it was beyond reason.
It was
very far beyond reason. And I will link to the page. I'll link to the page at CBC that has a lot of links, a lot of clips, I should say, to do with Beyond Reason. Well, Kat McLeod, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention.
Well, thank you for coming down the rabbit hole and laughing along with me, Richard. It's been fun.
Well, yes, it's almost as bonkers as the loons from Canada.
We were named aptly, Richard.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. And don't forget, head to skepticzone.tv to secure your tickets for Noticon, the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe Rogues. George Rabb, too, and other special guests will be here in July 22nd to the 25th here in Sydney. Coming up on next week's show, I hope to discuss the impending visit to our shores here in Australia of one Alison Duvoir. Now, you may remember the name. It was popular 20 years ago. She was the latest wonder kid on the block, the latest psychic wonder kid on the block with a reputation of solving crimes for the police using special magical powers. Alison Duvoir is coming to Australia and she says she's going to be working on cold cases. And I hope to bring you a report detailing some of the claims that she's making and some of the cases she says she'll be working on. This includes the Beaumont children, who I've covered on the show quite a few times before, and it's a particularly sad case. And January, the month just gone, January the 26th, marked 60 years since those children disappeared, and a string of psychics over the decades have shed no light on the case whatsoever. Thank you to the people who continue to support the Skeptic Zone at skepticzone.tv via PayPal or Patreon every week or every month. Your contribution helps so much. The microphones I used when I visited Kate to record Woo Watch were only available to me because of the generosity of listeners just like you. And I hope you'll agree with me that it sounded pretty good. I was very happy with that sound. And also I noticed that my website, should I say that the podcast housing outfit I use, Lipsin, which have been very good for nearly 20 years, decided to up my prices. Oh well, inflation, it happens. Originally they said they wouldn't be, and then they said, oh, you know what, in retrospect, we've discovered now. Anyway, price of doing business, I suppose. But that's why your contributions are so important. And a big shout out to listener Rich Gray over there in Dayton, Ohio, who made a very important contribution to this week's episode. You know what you did, Rich, and I appreciate it very much. But keep listening after the music, Rich. I think there's a bit more to come. But for now, this is Richard Saunders signing off from the Skeptic Zone studios here in Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for episodes and show notes with links going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone on Facebook, X, TikTok and YouTube by clicking the links at our homepage, together with links to support the show financially via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are not necessarily those of the Skeptic Zone podcast or any other skeptical organisation.
And joining me all the way from Edmonton in Calgary, Canada, it's the one and only Kat McLeod, for crying out loud.
Edmonton's not in Calgary, Canada.
I meant to say Alberta. That'll be in the bloopers. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Hello. To all those people who listen after the music, this is the dice game where we... What?
Hi, Richard.
What? The skeptical fairy godmother angel from the internet? What are you doing here?
I'm here for my segment.
You're a bit late. The show's already in the can. Susan, Adrienne, Kate, Lara, and Kat had to wing it. This is the after-show Easter egg and bloopers.
The what?
It's the end of the show, where if people keep listening, they get a dice game and sometimes bloopers.
And people actually listen to this?
Yes. Well, since you're here, let's get started. I have a die here, and everybody can guess or use their psychic magical powers, I guess fairies have that, to predict the number. Everybody guess. Here we go. It's 5.
What's wrong with that?
The dice is a D4. It only has 4 sides. Okay, this dice must be defective. I'll try another one. Here we go. I've got a D6. Good old standard 6-sided die. So let's roll this one. Everybody at home guess a number from 1 to 6. And it's 5 again.
Why, yes it is.
Well, yes, the odds are against it, but okay. Well, for our final roll, I'm going to use a D100, a 100-sided die. Here we go, everybody at home. Takes a long time to roll this dice. Here it comes. Another 5. This must be a dream. But why would I dream this?
It's not your dream. It's Susan Gerbic's dream.
But Susan guessed 555 correctly years ago.
Oh, Richard, don't you know anything? When it comes to 555, once is never enough. Well, gotta go.
No, wait, wait, there is. Oh.
What a weird dream. I must have nodded off just as the show got to its best part. I can't wait to see if I really get another 555.
Hello to everybody who listens after the music for that's odd. Well, this is not the first time deja vu's happened to me, I guess. This is the part of the show where we roll a die. I'm going to use a D10 this time, and we'll see what numbers come up, and I'll guess along with you. Let's see, I've got my notepad here. We're going to roll it probably 4 times. I'm going to guess, for the first number, I'm going to guess 2. For the second one, I'm going to guess 6. Then let's keep that sequence going. 8. And for the last one, I will predict 5. I think 5's come up before. Okay, here we go. First roll. Everybody guess. And the first number is 1. Close, but no cigar. Okay, the second number is coming up. I predicted a 6, and it is a 1. Okay. This is legit. Okay, next roll. I predicted an 8. Here it comes. 10. Okay, nothing yet. And the last number, I predicted a 5. Are you listening, Susan? Or are you dreaming? Here we go. And the number is 9. At last, today's winning numbers. 1, 1, 10, and 9.